Unit 8, it's an amazing place. We have the first exercise in this unit, which is about using verbs. Now we have the third exercise in the introduction section. Put each verb in the correct place. Now, such exercises usually are important in the exam because you can have a question, and in this question you might have multiple choices, and you have to choose the best verb or the appropriate verb that is used with these nouns. We have the verbs go on, work out, travel, do, have. Now notice the first one, which is done. Some sighting. Here, I'm reading here this section. So, some sightseeing, everything on the list. Now in this case, what is the verb with some sightseeing? Do we say work out some sightseeing, or it is do? So here you should be careful about the appropriate verb which is used with the noun. Now the second one, look. A look around. What do we use? Go on, work out, travel, do, or have? Have. Of course have. So in this case we say have a look around. Have a look. Number C, where are you? Number C, where are you? What to do? Work out. Which one? Usually in English, when do you use the verb at the beginning of the sentence? In English. Exactly. What is fa'al amr in English? Imperative. Usually. This is done as suggestions or recommendations. Notice the title of this unit, it is an amazing place. So what do we do usually in the good places? If you want to go to an interesting place, usually we have some activities, we have some suggestions, some recommendations about these places. What can we do? What kind of activities we can do? So notice, do sightseeing. Have a look. Have a look. When I say have a look, what does it mean? Look. When you say have a look, it means look at something. And in this case, as we said, it is imperative. Only in English we use the verb, the main verb I mean, at the beginning of the sentence if we have imperative. Clear? What is imperative? Ahmad, we say sit down, open your books, read, listen, etc. The third one, we said work out where you are or what to do. Work out. It means like make a list, decide, think. Make a list, for example. What to do? Work out what to do. It means make a list of things which you want to do. Or work out where you are. Think. Number D, a guided tour, or as we said yesterday, an excursion. It means trip. So, travel, a guided, we don't have the verb. We have the verb travel, but do we say travel, a guided tour, or go on? Here the verb which is used with a guided tour is go on a guided tour. Yeah, of course, we have the verbs. Look, you have these verbs in the books. Go on. Yeah, it can be used as summer, as continue, go on. And what is the meaning of go? يذهب alone. On a trip, notice. On a trip. Yeah, here as a preposition. But when you say go on, it means continue. It is phrasal verb. Clear? Here it is not a phrasal verb. Go on a guided tour. It is like go on a trip, go on an excursion. The last one, around by bus, travel. So if you have any of these examples or sentences in this exercise, in the exam, like for example, a look, or let's have the last one, around by bus. Here you might have a gap, and you have choices here. A, have, B, go on, C, travel, etc. So in this case, what do? We have multiple choices. We choose the appropriate verb. For example, he's around by a bus, so it is travel. We choose the appropriate answer and we write. Clear? We have another exercise here in your book, and it is also related to vocab. Remember, in the previous units, from Unit 1 until Unit 7, we don't have vocab exercises, right? Now in this unit we have two exercises about vocab. The second one is in the focus section, and again here it is related to description of places. Focus on describing places here in this section. Match adjectives which have a similar meaning. In other words, like synonyms. We have the word, we have the adjective, and we have on the opposite, on the other side, the second section, we have also words of similar meaning, and all that we have to do now is to choose the appropriate word or synonym for each of these adjectives. Like crowded. What does it mean, crowded? Lots of people. It means there are lots of people. Packed. Yeah, the same meaning, almost the same meaning. Now, fascinating. Fascinating. What does it mean? Let's read them first of all, both groups, and then we will work on how to match each of them with its meaning. Crowded, fascinating, lively, touristy, picturesque, pricey, cosmopolitan. What does it mean, cosmopolitan? Cosmopolitan. Aleppo, for example, it was a cosmopolitan city. No, cosmopolitan, it means, you know, in Aleppo, usually we have Arabs, we have Christians, we have Kurds, we have Armenians, right? So when you have people from different nationalities in one city, we call it cosmopolitan. Like Turkey, for example, here, like in Gaziantep, we have Turks, we have Arabs, we have Kurds, right? So what is cosmopolitan? مختلط أو متعدد الجنسيات. Cosmopolitan, peaceful. Peaceful, yeah, adjective, trendy, yeah, trendy. Trends, also we have the noun trends. Old-fashioned, polluted, some pollution, you know pollution? Old-fashioned. No. Old-fashioned, it is J and K polluted. Pollution, what is pollution? Yeah, pollution. Now, on the opposite side, on the next side, we have vibrant. We have popular, international, beautiful, dirty, packed, historic. What is history? Yeah, historic, the adjective. Interesting, expensive, quiet, fashionable. Now, you have 2 minutes. Try to match them, and then we will go on the exercise to check our answers together. Now, number 1, crowded. Okay. And number B, yeah, who can read it? Fascinating. Interesting, yeah. Fascinating, interesting. Number C, lively. Similar in meaning. Lively, what is lively? Lively, vibrant. Lively, it is with vibrant. Yeah, with vibrant. Now, tourist. You know tourist? Touristy. Usually, if you have a city which is touristy, popular, yeah. Touristy, it is popular. Picturesque. Picturesque, I told you, it is related to art. Beautiful, of course, yeah. Picturesque, it is beautiful, closest in meaning to beautiful. Number S, Noor. Pricey, yeah. Of course, expensive. Pricey, expensive. Number G, cosmopolitan, international. And number H, peaceful, quiet. Peaceful, quiet. Trendy, fashionable, old-fashioned, old-fashioned, old. What is related to something old? Historic. Here it is the adjective, historic. Dirty, dirty. Polluted, it is dirty. Any questions so far? Any questions? Now, we are going to skip the first part, but let's just have the meaning of these words which are used in travel. Accommodation. What is accommodation? Yeah, it is where to live. Accommodation. Food. Of course. Money, you know it. Safety. Safety, what is safety? Safety adjective. Safety. Salami. Transport and transportation sometimes. Transport. مواصلات نقل. Nightlife. Usually places where you can go at night. Yes. Weather. Attractions. Attractions. Like beautiful places. Yes. مراكز جذب. Go to the second page. Finding out information. Speaking strategy. Making polite requests. So, in the previous units, you remember we have sometimes to ask about alternatives. Right? You can ask about to get extra information. Now we have making polite requests. In previous units, we have also complaints. You might for example need something, then especially if you want to have a house or a flat. So sometimes you might have a problem in that flat. You might have a problem with the washing machine, with the refrigerator, with electricity, whatever. So you call the owner or the landlord of that house to complain about what is there or the problem which you have in your house. Now in this unit it is not about complaints, but rather it is about making polite requests. We have examples, and as it is mentioned here in your book, we have some expressions which we can use, and we are going now to read these expressions together. These expressions are written in bold. The first one, do you think you could? Do you think you could suggest a few places to see? Do you now here notice what is the verb which is used? Do you think you could? Could is mentioned. Even I got your point. If you said, could you please do something? Yeah, it is right request. But notice here the expression. We want to learn a new expression. Do you think? Look, when you ask the other person, when you ask him about his opinion, we use the verb think. Do you think? And it gives more value to the opinion of that person. Now, if we said, as you said, it's correct. If we said, could you give me this glass of water? Could you? Do you think? Whereas, just notice the difference between both of them. Do you think you can help your friend with this sharpener? Do you think? So here it means it is your decision. It is not mine. Right? It means you have the right to say or yes or no. It gives more value to the person we ask. Indirectly. In other words, it is indirectly. Do you think English is difficult? Do you think we could have another exercise? Now just notice the difference. If we said, if I asked you, do you think we can have another lecture next week? Or, can we have a lecture next week, another lecture next week? You see the difference between both of them. In the first, when we say, do you think, it means I'm asking you to make your minds work and think and act and answer in an appropriate way which is suitable for you. Right? Now notice the second one. I don't suppose you know anywhere good to stay. I don't think that in the first one. In the second, suppose. I don't think, I don't suppose, and in the last one, I wonder. What is I wonder with O, not with A? Wonder with O. It is different from A. What is wonder? No, wonder, it means I'm like asking myself. أتساءل. Yeah. I wonder if you would mind, I wonder if you would mind giving me a bit of advice. I wonder, it is not wonder from wonderful, no. I wonder, and here just differentiate between both of them, wonder and wonder. What is the difference between both of them? One with O and one with A. Wonder with A, what does it mean? يتجول. And wonder with O, يتساءل. Yeah. So, I wonder if you would mind giving me a bit of advice. Bit, what is bit? A little. And usually advice is not used in the plural. We don't say advices. Advice is wrong. So again, let's read them together. Noor, read.
Do you think you could suggest a few places to see? I don't suppose you know anywhere good to stay. I wonder if you would mind giving me advice.
A bit of advice. Why is different from bit? Bit and fight. Why with E? Look, most often when you have I, look, when you have the I, if the word ends with E, most often it's pronounced as I. Look, bit, but with E, fight. Now, you have a question? This is the only difference between them here for making requests. But in the exam, in exam, you will have similar questions. But I make it clear. Complain. Let's finish and then we'll come back to that one. I highlighted some of them, and once we finish, we are coming back to them. In the exam, you won't look. Here, you have in number 3, we are coming to this exercise. Imagine you are going on a short sightseeing trip. You know someone who comes from the place you are visiting. How do you ask about accommodation? You want to know about accommodation. What do you say? Clear? You want to ask about the weather. You want to ask about safety, about money, about food, etc. So in this case, you have to write your answer. Like I wonder, like do you think, like in the same way. Now, we have this exercise. Let's read the first example which is done, then you are going to do the rest of this exercise. You say, I was wondering, look, it is about accommodation. You say, what do you say? I was wondering if you can suggest a good place to stay. Because it is about accommodation. Now, the second one, weather. What is weather? So in the same way, if you are going on a short sightseeing trip, and you know someone, Noor is coming from a place from a trip similar to the one which you are going to, and you want to ask her about weather. In the same way, I wonder if you would mind giving me a bit of advice about weather. Right? In the same way now, we have this exercise and I want you to do it. Yeah? You can start doing this exercise in the same way. I wonder, using these three questions, three ways of making polite requests. Do you think you could? I don't suppose. And the last one, I wonder if you mind. Yes, shall we start? Number 2, number B. Yes. In this country or in this city? Yeah, can you write it? Do you think yes, possible. I wonder, if you write I wonder, it is also possible. Do you think you can? Or you could? Do you think you could? Do you think you could? Or if you write I wonder, it is also correct. Yeah. Do you think you could? Give me a bit of advice about the weather. The weather. If you want to add extra information like what clothes, because it depends on the weather. So what clothes should I take? What clothes? No, just complete, just to add it. Should I take? You know, we are asking about weather. Question mark, sit down. Okay, no problem. Number C, it is about transportation. Transportation, just transportation, it means the transportation means. What are the transportation means? Like buses, like a tram, trains, etc. Now, do you think, yes? Number C, do you think, yeah? So I'll help you with writing the answer. Number C, do you think you could tell me how best to get around the city? Question mark. And also if we said, I wonder, look, both of them are possible. If we said, I wonder if you could tell me how best to get around the city, it is also correct. I wonder. Just, if you want to change this one, do you think you could tell me? I wonder if you could tell me. Both of them are answers.
I don't suppose you know a lot about transport.
I
don't suppose you know a lot about transport.
Transportation.
Transportation.
Transport verb as verb. Transportation noun. But look here, we didn't mention transportation directly. We said how best to get around the city. How best to get around the city, in this case we meant transportation but without writing the word itself. How best to get around. How best, it means the best way. Number D, safety. Okay, I write the answer, don't worry about writing. Number D, I'll give you some time to write. Safety. Usually, you can start your question by saying, what about safety? Then we add one of these questions. Like the following. This is number D. What about safety? Then I was wondering, or I wondered, I was wondering, again, if you could, I was wondering if you could give me some tips. Some tips, it is like pieces of advice. Some tips. What about safety? I was wondering if you could give me some tips. What about money? How do you ask about money? Number E, what did you write?
I wanted to,
If you, if you could, if you would, yeah.
you would mind giving me a bit of advice about getting money from ATM.
Possible, yeah. Other answers. No, what did you write? You didn't write? Now in this case you can use I don't suppose. I don't suppose. I don't suppose you know the best way I don't suppose you know the best way to change money. Or would you mind telling me, would you mind, look if we said, would you mind telling me. Now to complete it, the best, etc. to the end of the sentence. Would you mind telling me the best way to change money? Change, what does it mean, change? Yeah, change. Now number F, food. Who is hungry? Anybody hungry? So, thank you. Yes? A beautiful place to eat. Yeah, possible. Let's write. I was wondering if you knew any good restaurant. E, so F. I was wondering if you knew any good restaurant. Mind, what does it mean mind here? No, mind, have to forget. Sometimes you say never mind. You might. Don't worry. Yeah, here, would you mind telling me, do you have a problem? Here it is like, do you have a problem telling me the best place to go or the best way to change money? So here mind, it is not mind. Different. It is like, do you have a problem? And as you said, sometimes you say never mind. You might ask about something, you think it's difficult, so I say never mind. What does it mean, never mind? Don't worry. More or less, it's the same. What does it mean, more or less? No, not أكثر أو أقل. More or less, one word. Almost. When we say more or less the same, more or less the same. It's usually, look, how do we say? We say this exercise is more or less the same as the previous exercises. It is almost the same as the previous exercises. So number F, number G, night light. Or do you think, that's like, do you think you could suggest a good places or a few places to go in the evening? Do you think you could suggest? This is E. I'm writing E at the top. E. Do you think you could suggest G? Yeah. Number G. Do you think you could suggest a few places to go in the evening? Do you think you could suggest a few places to go in the evening? And what was the last one? Shopping, yeah. Do you think, or I was wondering, yeah? Do you think more? Shopping center, first. You can say shopping center. Or I was wondering if you knew any good shops to go to. The brine mall. Changeable. Yeah. So I was wondering, this is the last one. I was wondering if, always I was wondering if. Notice, after if, what do we use? I was wondering. What do we have here? What is the tense? I was wondering. Past continuous. And after if, can we use the present if you know? No, we use past. Now, I was wondering, number H, if you knew any good shops or shopping centers, no problem, to go to. To go shopping, if you want to write any good places to go shopping, yeah, it's possible. If we say, do you know, or I was wondering if you knew any good shopping center, any good places to go shopping. Do you know any good places to go shopping here in Gaziantep, for example? Brand. But after the class. The class, not now. Okay, we have any question before we move to the second exercise, to the next one, I mean? Any question? No question? So let's go to page 40. To page 40. And in page 40, as I told you previously, we are going to have an exercise. Again, this exercise is related to sounds. So basically, in Unit 8, we have two exercises about vocabulary. The first one, which is about verbs to be used with certain nouns. We have also the second exercise, which is related to matching words with their synonyms, with their meaning. And the final one, the final exercise in this unit is about sounds. And concerning sounds, before we starting this exercise, we are going to have let's say an introduction to sounds. I'm going to link both the exercises we have in the previous lecture, which is related to deleting the sounds. You see, we have connected speech, and in this connected speech exercise we have the t and the z and the he sounds, and as we mentioned yesterday, we delete these sounds in certain cases. Now, in this exercise, which is in Unit 8, linking consonant and vowel. It is about linking consonants and vowel. Sound smart. Sound smart. In the same page 40, you have page 40? Yeah, this one. Yeah. This is Hamoud's printer. Sound smart, like this. Okay, sound smart. Let's read it first. Let's read what is there in this exercise. If a word ends in a consonant, now again we have to differentiate sounds in English between vowels and consonants. So if the word ends with a consonant, I know you like phonetics. تحبوا الصوتيات. If a word ends in a consonant and the next word begins with a vowel, then the consonant sound moves to the beginning of the next word. Now, what does it mean? If a word ends with a consonant and the next word starts with a vowel, what happens? The consonant of the first word moves to the beginning of the second word, and we will have examples, and that is why we have the second part, the extra part, which is added to this course. So we are going to read them together, we are going to explain them, and after we have explanation, after we explain them together, and after we make sure you understand them properly, we are going to come to this exercise. Any question before we move to the phonetic section? Any question? No question? Okay. Again, if a word ends in a consonant, underline it. Just underline it. Consonant and end. The word end. Underline end and consonant. And the next word begins in a vowel. Begin a vowel. Underline them. Begin, underline it, vowel. Now, the consonant, what happens? The consonant sound. Which consonant of the first word? The consonant sound. What happens? Moves. And the line also the word moves to the beginning of the next word. Now, for example, notice, get up. Now, in English, why do we have, you might say, why do we have this complicated thing? It is not complicated, but we need practice. It is easy, but we need practice. Previously, I know how you study. Just, we have vocab, we have some grammar, and we go on. But usually language is not like this. And we don't say a word, a stop, then we move to the second word and in the same way like this. So any sentence, we don't say we have English lectures every week. No, we say we have English lectures every week. We have it almost in one stream. Right? The utterance, the pronunciation. You know pronunciation? Pronunciation, what does it mean? Yeah, how we say it. Pronunciation, it appears as if it is one unit. So, get up. Notice, get up. Top, get up. Notice the consonant. Which is what is the consonant here? Get up. We have two words. Get and up. For example, when do you get up in the morning? At 8. We are going to write it R. How do we read it? How did you say it? I get up. Do you say I get up? No, read it. Try to read it. So, notice we have the rule now. Consonant, right? Plus vowel. Now what happens? This consonant comes to this vowel. Now the same rule we are going to apply here. What do we have? This is the consonant. You know consonant? This is the consonant, the T. What happens to this T? It comes in pronunciation to the second word before the vowel. So in this case, instead of saying I get up, it will be I get up. Tub, get up. I get up at 8 o'clock. See? Now, we have another example. Stop, over. But together, how do you pronounce it? Stop over. Stop over. Stop over. Yeah, almost, yeah. You see how we pronounce them? Stop over. So in this case we are now thinking and speaking in terms of sentences, in terms of how these things are done in the actual life. Because if you are speaking to a native speaker, he doesn't speak or pronounce word by word. Clear? And as I told you, these exercises need practice. You have to practice them more. You have, especially, even you might say you don't have somebody at home to practice English with, but you can practice them yourself. You need a break. So we will have a break for 5 minutes. For 5 minutes. So 5 minutes and then we will continue.